Okay, there we go. Yeah. All right. So my name is Latrell, and I'm going to be doing a seminar on using habit reversal to reduce failed pauses in public speaking, which is ironic because I get really nervous during public speaking, like right now. So you'll hear some failed pauses from me. So I hope I'm going to try and catch them as I speak. You'll hear me trying to catch them. So, just a brief table of contents, or sorry, like the agenda that we're going to do today. So, we're just going to go over the quick overview of the article, the purpose of the article, awareness training, which will also have in the CR as well, training. We're going to talk about what habit reversal is, the participants and the methods behind the study, and the competing response training, which is the CR I was talking about. And then we have our habit reversal trivia. Hope you guys are excited. Our discussion questions, and then the results and on findings, and then the limitations of the study, which is going to be like kind of my opinion on the study, right? And a little bit of critiques. So first of all, first is the overview of the article. So the article goes over the use of habit reversal training to limit the use of like filled pauses during speaking. So filled pauses can include things like ums, right, which I think I've done a little bit of a little bit, or ers. Also, tongue clicking, which was one of the participants. I'm not really a fan of that in my anxiety. We don't really do too many tongue clickings. And then also the word like, which I really only do when I'm around my girlfriend. She'd be doing that too. And when that is used incorrectly, the word like. So these pauses can interrupt the flow of a speech and also interrupt someone's processing of what you're saying and reduce how credible and how confident you sound as a speaker to an audience. The researchers, the ones that did the study, wanted to determine whether a behavioral intervention could help people reduce or limit the habits of improve like of the filled pauses and improving their fluency in their speeches. All right. So second one here is habit reversal. So there are two main components, the awareness training and response training, which also we heard Jennifer go over as well. Habit reversal is a behavioral intervention that can be used to limit behaviors or habits, which I touched on a little bit. It has been used successfully to treat behaviors like people stuttering, nail biting, and other repetitive habits. And the habit reversal works by helping people first become aware of the habit. So you identify what it is you're exactly doing, right? And kind of breaking that cycle in your head originally. And then from there, you find something that can replace it. So it actually happened to me recently with the same word like, where I was having a conversation with my mom and I was trying to describe something to her, and I was like, like like when you do something like this. So and then she broke the habit and said, okay, do you notice that you're saying like a lot? And I didn't. I thought I maybe said it once or twice, but I didn't notice I had said it like five or six times before the sentence had ended. So she stopped me, which broke the cycle. And then going forward, because I was aware of it, I was able to stop myself, think first, and then speak. Because I think that that was my issue, is that I was trying to think while I was speaking um, instead of thinking first and then speaking. All right, the next slide here. So the purpose of the article, to me personally, is the study was to, or sorry, of the study would be to evaluate whether the habit reversal can actually help limit the reduce pauses in someone speaking, right? So I feel like the one thing, and I'm only going to touch on this a little bit. I feel like the one thing that the that they could have changed was gather a real audience, just because it was a little bit more simulated. But I think it was still a really good study to show that that these habits do become repetitive behaviors, and that we can use ABA and things from what's it called from our habit reversal in order to help us break that cycle and develop more healthy speaking habits, right? But yeah, so that was mostly the purpose of the article. The participants that they had were six female college students, and sorry, they included two undergrad students and four graduated students as well. Each of the participants were rated, her, or they rated their own public speaking and their ability to average, like their ability from below average to average or even above average. And during the baseline observations, all the clients showed at least two fill pauses per minute. So the researchers were counting how many filled pauses and how many times that they did their habits to by the minute, right? They were then asked to do short speeches, like prepare their own short speeches, and that lasted between 2 to 3, or sorry, 3 to 5 minutes. And then they were given about 10 minutes to prepare for the speech using like topics that were just randomly selected. The speeches were also video recorded so that they can review after and see where they made those mistakes and where they may have trailed off. And then the researchers measured the number of the pauses that were filled per minute, right? So this would be before, and then they did it after the habit reversal sessions, right? Um, So, and I kind of went over this a little bit, the methods, right? These were the methods here, 3 to 5 minutes. Each one was about each one had about 10 minutes to prepare, and the topics were picked at random. So I think this was a good topic to use. I might even watch this back for myself, just because I, again, can hear myself I can catch myself sometimes doing the filled pauses, and it may even help me in presentations later on, because I still have a couple before I'm out of school, and also even in the professional world as well. The So this is our awareness training. So the participants they learn to be aware of their own field pauses, right? Hence from the videos. Sorry about that. Let me just put this on mute here. Okay, sorry. So yeah, so they went through their videos and they saw the targeted behavior where they needed to find something to reverse it, and then they detected it while they were doing their own speeches as well. The first component of the intervention was the awareness training in this phase, right, where participants learned to recognize when they were using more filler words or other targeted behaviors. They practice detecting like their behaviors by watching the recordings, and seeing where they could improve, right, and seeing where exactly did they trail off or did they use those filled pauses, right? So then we have that's the first part of the training. The second part of the oh my gosh, the two main components is uh, the competing response training. So the participants were able to practice different behaviors to replace the filled pauses. Examples different of different responses were like instead of saying or they would pause silently for 3 seconds. So I kind of touched on that earlier, where you wait, you gather your thoughts, and then continue to speak, right? So that you're just not trying to play catch up or trying to right your wrong while you're thinking of what you're going to say next, right? And then on top of that, instead of like clicking their tongue, they would hold their tongue against the bottom of their front teeth, just to be again like, okay, we need to relax because it seems like the tongue is going faster than my brain is going, right? And then instead of using the word like, where it wouldn't be fitting or you're just overusing the word, they would restart the sentence without saying the word like and use something else, like such as if it is needed, right? So here's our habit reversal trivia. I got 6 questions, nothing too crazy. I hope everybody I hope everybody is ready. I'm gonna take we got how many people in here? We got 4 of us, right? Yeah. So I'll take everybody's initials and I'm gonna keep score to see who answers. Okay? There we go. Yeah. So everybody can give their answer in the chat, and then I will record which one is right, and then I'll reveal the winner at the end of the 6 questions. Sounds good? Yeah, sounds good. Cool. So, mm, what was the purpose of the study? A, was it to improve the speech volume? Was it to limit the filled pauses while speaking, writing longer speeches, or to teach debate skills? There we go. Mhm. Very nice. Let me move this chat. Here we go. Which of the following is considered a filled pause? Saying tongue clicking, the misuse of the word like, or D, all of the above? Sure, there we go. Mm, And how many participants were in the study? Was it 4, 6, 12, or yeah, or 10? It was B. Yeah, yeah, B. Yeah, B. Perfect. Now one more. I think that's. Oh, we got a couple more. What are the two components, like the main components of habit reversal? Reinforcement and punishment, awareness training and competing response training, modeling and rehearsal, or practice and feedback. We got all B's. All right. What competing response replaced or Was it talking louder, pausing silently for 3 seconds, talking faster, or taking notes? B's. All B's in the chat. Very nice. And what happened after habit reversal training? Excuse me. Filled pauses increased, no changes happened. Filled pauses decreased significantly, or oh my gosh, participants stopped speaking. I just stopped speaking. Oh my days. Perfect. Thank you. You guys did really good. Doing really good. Okay, these are discussion questions. So, very, very, really good, guys. We got Wei Mei and Ailin. You guys came in twin first. And sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name. With Mei coming
Yeah,
in,
it's my
Mei,
turn.
Maitre
Yes.
coming in at a close second. Very, very close, very close. It was six. It was six participants, not four. But other than
Yeah,
that, you
I
guys
got
did
it.
great. You guys did great. So here we got some discussion questions for us to go over. So the first one is why might awareness training alone be enough to limit the amount of filled pauses for some people? What do you guys think?
I think for the first one, I feel at least in the way that they did it, they had a recording of themselves speaking out to an audience of people. I
Mm.
feel like in that situation is probably more than enough to do to get them to stop using so many pauses in their words or using so many filler words as well, because you can already see right then and there, like looking back at the video, when you are using too much pausing or using too many filler words, and then you can really just draw back just by looking at the video from that.
Very true. Yeah, definitely. Anybody else?
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, whenever you're aware, right, you can control yourself. And then you kind of like as you just said, because sometimes you use on and on when you're doing your presentation, but I found you are kind of sometimes you pause. I think probably you learn from the article already.
No, definitely, definitely. I totally agree as well. I think that the competing training is still needed just because yes, once you're aware of it and you're doing it, that's great. But then what happens is like what happens when you have another conversation, right? You're gonna think that you have it down packed from the last time. Maybe you haven't fully gotten rid of that habit, right? Maybe it was that conversation that you caught it. But what happens in 2 weeks when you're having another conversation, right? It could come back without you realizing. That's my biggest trope about it. But I totally agree. Um, Maitri, do you have anything?
Yeah, I agree with
You
that
agree?
also. Yeah, sure.
No, I totally get you. No, I feel you. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
so like basically, when sometimes this happens, like we say, like
no,
so in during
100%.
presentations, and like sometimes we won't be knowing that too. Like it comes like that. We won't be knowing like
Mhm.
yeah, when we try to
Exactly.
speak up, yeah.
Yeah,
So when we do these type practices, it's kind of good to reduce that and make it more improvable and to analyze what causes that. Like suppose like
definitely.
you can say like while we speak also like casually.
Yes, no, I totally get you. Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's not only about public speaking, it could be just whatever.
Yeah, sometimes it will be like in tip of a mouth chunk, but it don't come out.
It won't come.
So
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
Right. And it could be in any type of setting. No, I totally understand you. Yeah. The second question I have is, do you guys think that habit reversal training would be effective if the speeches were given in front of a real audience? So this was kind of what I was touching on earlier. Like in the study, they're doing it in more of a controlled environment, so they don't really. It's not a real live audience. Like, do you guys think that because it was more simulated than it was real, that more like the anxiety would be more real, so like it would kind of overpower the intervention, or like what do you guys think?
That's sort of where I was gonna go with it, with the anxiety of having like a full actual audience
Yeah,
in front of you. That probably is the biggest factor I think that would influence the effectiveness of the habit reversal
yeah.
is just really the actual having a group of many people sitting in front of you watch. That's like a
Mhm.
lot for anybody to have to, actually sit and get everything out into the, even for
Exactly.
me,
Yeah.
saying it in front of three people is even like a lot for me sometimes.
Mhm.
So it's
Mhm.
that I feel like it could, yes, it would probably still be effective, but also it might be a little less effective in the sense of like putting in anxiety in that. This is probably a lot more than it would be in a controlled environment.
Yeah, I think that it might hold its own, but the thing is that the real audience would have to be implemented from the very beginning. So that level of anxiety would have to be at that level, and then the intervention would have to then be brought forth, like the awareness training and the competing awareness train oh my gosh, the competing response training as well. That would also like the stakes would have to be that high in order for it to register that high. Because I feel like if it's just simulated, there once you're really in that spot, you're gonna start to forget because you're now nervous at the actual audience that's looking at you, not the
Hmm.
simulated one. Yeah, I totally get you.
Yeah, agreed. 100%.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
I
agree with
agree
that
with.
too.
Oh,
Oh, you're studying? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, so I think like I agree with that point too because like we can see like personally for me like sometimes when there are lots of crowds but I'm not that much type of like mm, introvert or like I can't say, but the thing is like we feel like nervous basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like there will be like the poses may be more increased as well, like according to the audiences.
Mm-hmm.
Like we feel, and maybe because like some people might be like especially when they are like not much into audience style, like
Yeah.
not the people who are introvert, we say.
Mm-hmm.
So they might feel difficulties in handling with this situation like a lot,
Right.
and I don't think it will be an effective way for those people. And sometimes there are like it's basically about the people's perspective. Some maybe feel very comfortable with it, and
Mm-hmm.
they might be improving more with that.
Yeah.
And also when it comes to the audience, like it will be nicer if the audience give the like get the chance to know like about these practices, so that they can
Mm-hmm.
just like understand the situation of that, like the people
Mm-hmm.
who are presenting, so that it might be helpful for them and gain confidence for them also, because while we present, the audience are the strength, right? So
Definitely, yeah.
basically when they will give us strength like about appreciation a little bit,
Yeah.
it might be reduced from to an extent.
I
Yeah.
feel like it depends, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. No, definitely. I feel that. Yeah. Sorry, wait, were you gonna say something?
Oh yeah, no, I'm saying that I agree with all you guys.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like because you are nervous, right, when you're in front of a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I probably will think like we can just like practice like with your mom first,
Yeah.
to increase the like you feel comfortable, and
Mhm.
then you slowly increase like more and more people, and at the end, as long as you want to like decrease that habit,
Mhm.
as long as you continue doing it and you do it in the right way, I think at the end it will be very effective.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So within the like sessions, like the habit reversal sessions, you're saying to like as they go along further in the sessions, they start to add more people in the public. Okay, yeah, yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, definitely. That's great. I love your answers, guys. Um, Here we'll go to the next slide. So just the results of the study, right? Quick. Um, During the baseline, which was like the original where they would be starting out for, they're starting out at, there was about on average 7.4 filled pauses per minute. But after the habit reversal training, there was an average of about 1.4 filled pauses per minute. So all the participants showed that like an immediate decrease in their filled pauses, and the improvements were maintained with 2 to 5 weeks of follow-up sessions. So the participants also reported higher confidence, more comfortable speaking in general, and little to no filler words. Even though I just used a filler word, I just got the look. He just don't tell anybody. But the point is is like that's what I was saying. That's what we were saying earlier too, right? Is that and women was saying as well. You have to kind of build up that confidence in order to be able to speak. And how what I was saying was is that whatever is like whatever you may whatever filled pauses you may be using in like your general speech when you're public speaking, it's now amplified, right? So they're more comfortable speaking in general, meaning like even though the training was for public speaking specifically, it helped them in other aspects of communication in their life, right? And then little to no filler words, of course. That was the hopefully the result of the or the goal of the study, right? So the limitations, I don't really have too much to say. My biggest critique of it was, like I was saying earlier, the fact that it wasn't a real audience, right? The speeches weren't presented in front of a real live audience. It was just presented in front of like the people at that session. And it's a little bit like the stakes aren't as high because you know that everybody basically is either in the room to help you or they're also in the room to get the same help that you are there for, right? I feel like a lot of, at least my nerve or anxiety comes from like for public speaking comes from the fact that I'm the only one doing it. So it's not like everybody else in the room has to now come up here and stand up here too. I'm the only one that has to feel this. I'm the only one that's standing here. I'm the only one that's speaking. And I think that with them being in a room where they know that everybody is here to either help and or present and get the same help as well, it kind of takes away that intensity that you would feel. That would be my biggest gripe. And then also they didn't really fully test the long-term effects. So like I was saying, you may be able to get through this public speaking now, right? Even with just the awareness training or even with both training. But what happens in 2 weeks when you feel like you have it down packed and it's all good and you don't need to practice, let's say stop speaking for 3 seconds or holding your tongue against your front teeth, right? You feel like you got it down packed, you don't need to do it. So what happens after a while? You what happens if you just start slipping back into those ways, right? So I think that was another thing where they should test to see and like have people come back in 6 months and see where their filled pauses and uh, uh, where their confidence in communication and speaking lies. But those are my little limitations and or gripes, critiques of the study, if you would, my opinion. Yeah. I think that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed. I didn't. I was quite nervous, but I hope you guys enjoyed. Yeah. Thank you. Here can I?
You did great.
Thank you.
Yeah, awesome job.